What? Hmm. On live. Go live. Hello, good morning. It is Monday Mindset Magic. I had to go in and out because my lovely Instagram. I'm not going to talk about how much I love Instagram. I'm going to give a couple of more minutes for everybody to show up. I am in Playa del Carmen. It's hard to believe that it was just a week ago that I was doing this from the airport in Dallas. And that was I'm going to see if I can make my travel arrangements outside of this 9 o'clock on Mondays because it was super. It wasn't stressful. It was just not what I'm used to, I suppose. But then again, that's what mindset is all about: is doing those things that feel uncomfortable for you and finding a way to love it. So I know that I have several people watching this because I'm streaming on all of my platforms. I have two YouTube channels, Facebook. I have a large group in Wichita Falls, Instagram, TikTok. Oh, we're not streaming on TikTok. You guys can follow me on TikTok. I think it's 1,000 followers. I am so just putting my toe in the water of mm, social media, TikTok and Instagram. And I will say I'm not trying to get viral in any respect. That isn't the object of the exercise. So I know that if I were to try to get viral, I would do completely different things. And so that's not what's happening. And it's fairly interesting because I just I'm not in that category. So it's a slow burn of getting eyeballs on your content because that's the object of every exercise. So I wanted to share that I had a question come up, and it's a really good question about mindset because I can talk about mindset all day long. And I have, as I said, I have an amazing, huge group in Wichita Falls, and I'm on a lot of other groups as well. And it's fairly interesting to me that I think, uh-oh, I need to go put my battery in. Okay, hang on. Difficulties. I'm just getting used to my digs here in Playa, and I apparently forgot to bring the battery charger out this morning. So, anyways, that was pretty hilarious. So, technical difficulties, they happen all the time, and that's sort of going to lead into a little bit of what I'm talking about. But I have this group, and I'm in several other large groups. And what I find fascinating is, and I have a saying that I've said for a while now, they wouldn't be happy if you hung them with a new rope. And what I find is that there is a there's this overriding thought process in the culture everywhere in the world, not just this culture here in the United States. When somebody says something, whether you post it on social media, I call them snarky comments because frankly, that's the best word that I know how to use. But here's what I think about that is that when you have a mindset and your first reaction is to put some kind of negative spin, snarky comment, or version of, well, that's not really true for my life. I think, well, that's interesting because that's all in your mindset. Your mindset drives how you show up in the world. And I shared on several of these Monday morning chats that getting up and having a magical thought or saying this is the best day of my life will get you moving in the right direction. Now, does shift happen? Absolutely. Stuff is going to happen in your life and it's going to throw you into a tailspin, and you get an opportunity to say, am I going to respond to that how I've always responded? Or am I going to have a different mindset about it? Because it does start with the mind. I teach manifestation And manifestation is really about resonating with the vibratory energy that you have in the world. But here's the thing is you've got to start looking at your thoughts. So somebody asked me, well, how do I shift my mindset when I'm already down the rabbit hole? Because that's really where we find ourselves. We can have the best intentions when we get up in the morning and do all of those things and do prayers and meditation and visioning and whatever. And guess what? Something happens. It doesn't matter whether it's the kids aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. You run into traffic on the freeway, you have a flat tire. I mean, literally, you fill in the blank because everybody has those moments. For me, it's always related to technology. Thus, I'm running around picking up cords. But the thing is that there is one simple little thing that you can do that will move you from where you are in this lockdown position, because really what it amounts to is you get into a loop, right? You get into a loop of a thought that's not a supportive thought. I remember years ago, this is before computers were really a big deal. And I'm trying to think, I think it was the 80s. So, I mean, even personal computers that was a big deal. So I took a programming class at a local college where I lived. I don't even know what I was thinking. Programming is not my thing. It's much more of an engineer brain. But I took a programming course. The one thing I do remember is that you can get into a loop with your programming. So if you don't put everything exactly right in a programming, mm, in a program, because it's just if Y then X, if X then Y. If you don't put everything exactly the right way and then leads to the next point, you can actually get into what's called a loop. Well, your mind gets in that loop as well. And so when you get into that loop, sometimes it's being like on a hamster wheel, you can't get out. So here is a surefire way, absolutely, anytime, change your state, get out of where you're going, is get curious. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, getting curious, literally, all you have to do is look around wherever you are. Right here, right now, while you're watching this, look around wherever you are. There are a million things for me to be curious about, especially in a new place like this, but even in my own home. And if you can't, you so stock, literally, and this is, I don't have any American coins, but I have a Mexican coin. I don't even know what kind of coin it is. And frankly, it's really hard for me to read. Here's the thing is get curious, pick something up. I found this amazing coral on the beach day before yesterday, and there's so much to look at it to be curious about it. Here's the thing, it isn't just literally being looking at it and thinking about it. Ask yourself some questions. I took journalism, another college experience that I had. I took journalism. And what did journalists? They ask questions. They ask the questions about who, what, where, when, how. And sometimes they ask the why question. And frankly, I wouldn't ask a why question because why questions, really, there are no answers for them. But think about that. Who has held this coin? Or in the alternative, the who has been, who has held this, who has seen this, who has, and it could be a fish. It doesn't have to be anybody on the planet. I mean, anybody, a person on the planet. But here's a coin. Who's held this coin? Who has used this coin for something in their lives? And you know what? It's interesting is when you begin to look at things with a curious mind, almost as if you were Lewis and Clark as an explorer, you see things differently. So what experiences has this coin seen? How many things has it seen in the experience? And when you have a coin in the United States, and as I said, it's really hard for me to read this one. I'm sure there's a date on here, but in a coin in the United States, look at the date on it. What has it been doing for all of this time? So that's another question, the what. And then where has it been? Wow, let your imagination run. Where has it been? When when did it show up in your pocket? Interesting enough, when did it show up for you? Maybe you don't even know. See, we have things flow in and out of our lives so seamlessly that we don't even give it the proper intention and attention. So when, how did this come into existence. Think about how money is even created, right? Think about the mint. Think about how they print money. Think about how it got from the mint to the first bank to somebody's pocket to how they spent it. I think it's one of the most incredible things that you can do for yourself is to begin to be curious about your surroundings. Now, taking that one step further, you can do that with any object that's near or around you in order to change your state of the loop and then move through the curiosity. Then you can begin to be curious about your own thoughts. Who, what, where, how, when. How did you have those thoughts? Where did they come from? What do they mean for you? Because until we begin to get curious about our own mindset, and what I feel like I am a Lewis and Clark when it comes to exploring how life works. And I will never have the complete answer until I'm not breathing anymore. I know this to be the truth because there is something magical to learn every single day about how life works, how I work, how I think, how I behave. And so you can do that too. And when you say there isn't anything else to learn, you have closed down your mind and closed down every opportunity that will ever exist for you to be the most magical person on the planet. So, what I'm going to encourage you today for this Monday Mindset Magic is every single time you have a opportunity to be curious today, do that. When you're walking through your day, I love everywhere that I live. I love Playa del Carmen. I love Wichita Falls. And when I go on my walks, because I do that every day in either location, I'm constantly looking around me to see something that I haven't seen before. Because that curiosity allows you to get out of your stuckness. And that stuckness is what keeps us from having all of the good. And what I tell everybody is the universe is for you always. There is only that which is for you. It is you that only pushes it away because God and the universe are saying yes every single minute of every single day. There is not a moment where the yes is not being said. And the yes is being said to how you feel and how you think. So if you believe that you can't, you're right. And if you believe that you can, you're also right. And with that, as I said, I love being in all of these magical vortexes. Wichita Falls has been a magical vortex. And I wanted to do a quick uh, shout out, if you will, to people in Wichita Falls that have seen me post on the various social media platforms that I'm here in Playa del Carmen in my new house, which it is my new house. And I still have a house in Wichita Falls. I live in two magical vortexes. Holy cow. And the thing is that was it 6 years ago now? 5 or 6 years ago, I was on food stamps with cancer in bed going, I'm going to get better and I'm going to move to Wichita Falls. And all of that happened. And life has just been truly magical since that point because that is a magical vortex. And it is also now, I'm calling it a gateway to paradise because I am going to start giving retreats in Playa del Carmen because it is a magical vortex and because it has so much history. We have archaeological opportunities right off of the ocean and cenotes and temescals and all kinds of things that we don't have in Wichita Falls. But at the same time, there's a different kind of magic in Wichita Falls. So for those of you that were wondering, have I left Wichita Falls? I have not. I'm making this up as I say this all the time. I'm building the airplane while I'm flying it. So I am making this up as I go along with the input of the guidance of the universe. So if you'd like to check out some of my social media platforms, there's all kinds of freebies to download that talk about visioning and some of the upcoming workshops that I'm putting together. And as I said, if you want to come down to this beautiful place in Playa del Carmen, message me, go on any of my platforms, and there's opportunities to look at how you might be coached down here as well into manifesting your dreams. So for now, it's Monday. Have a mindset that is curious. I cannot wait. And if you are doing that today, put it in the comments of whatever platform you happen to be watching on today, because one of the things that's so important is to get information or the visual of this to be sent out to more people is your comments. So put comments, say hi to each other, say hi to me, and I will see you next Monday at 9 o'clock. Bye bye. Queen of Magic out.